This is the World Open round 2 analysis. I'm actually going to set up the board right now. World Open analysis round 2, folks. Round 2. So I play black here. So I'm playing in round 2, World Open. Let me actually exit out of this right here. And we're playing, you know, I'm 1-0 so far. I won the first game, Scotch Gambit. If you missed that, that's on the YouTube. You can catch the analysis for that. So round 2 comes around, and I get a big heavy hitter. I get a big dog, one of the GMs, the monsters, the scary people that they talk about. That's one of those guys, right? So I'm playing, and his name's Andrei Gorovitz. You can Google him right now. Andrei Gorovitz. Very, 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 very strong. Very strong. 2,600 USCF. Over 2,600 USCF. And he's over 2,500, of course, FIDE. So super strong. Super strong. Monster, okay? He plays in Pro Chess League teams, all the shebang, everything. He's great. So you won 1 in a row. We get it. Yes, Dimitri, I did. How old is he? He's 31, apparently, is what it says on Wikipedia, on Google. So I always Google my opponents. So I think he's 31. But yes, I'm playing Andrei Gorovitz, and he plays the white pieces here. So get this, guys, I got D4 3 times in this tournament. 3 times. When usually I don't get D4 that much. So this was a D4 tournament for real. But here we go, guys, right? I am booked up. Here, let me tell you about my prep. This is how I prep. So before every round, I would literally take a few hours. Like if the round's at 11, I would get up probably at 8 just to eat right, get my protein shake and my oatmeal. Same thing every morning. Drink some water, sit down, and study. I'm studying most of my openings, tactics, whatever color I have that day. I'm working. I'm putting in work 2-3 hours before the round starts, right? So I'm in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have black today. So I studied everything I know, stuff like that. Then I get here, but some of the stuff I brushed off just a little bit because I was like, I probably won't get it. And that's the stuff that I actually got in this round, was the stuff that I brushed off a little bit. Or just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll go through it anyway. And this is why you need to be prepared, and this is a lesson learned. What's up, Money? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. So check this out. He plays white. D4. Knight f6. Okay, easy stuff. Easy stuff. I'm playing with the black pieces here, right? He goes Bishop f4. I'm like, oh, D Price. Okay, everybody else that I know, a London system, I know this stuff. I just studied this. I go G6, regular. It's the usual. Knight C3. Now, the Knight C3 version is a little bit different. In Knight C3, you have to go E4. They're going for E4, basically. So you got to play this differently. Instead of Bishop G7, you have to go D5 and stop E4. That's the usual here. So that's what I did. I'm still in book. I played D5. He goes E3. Okay, so E3, I'm like, okay, easy. I go Bishop G7. So I'm still in prep here. In prep, Bishop G7. He goes H4. Now I'm kind of out of prep. Now I'm like, whoa, H4, I don't remember this. I don't remember this one. This one I don't remember. So I actually thought, and let me tell you about how much time I was up. I prepped so hard that usually out of 9 games, I think 2 of the games I was either equal or down on time. Out of 9 of them. The rest of them I was up about an hour on time because of my preparation. Money says D6. Actually, D6 would be bad. If you go D6, then they have E4, and that's what they want. They want to play E4. So you got to play D5 to stop E4. That's why they go E3. But H4, he played H4, and I was like, is he really going to go H5 here? And I was thinking, like, I don't remember this, but this later on, it's funny how sometimes your games or sometimes the opening will be a mixture of a few things, or they'll play a move order first, but it's the same opening. They just did a different move. Move 17, they did it move 6, which is a little bit different. So it kind of threw me off, honestly. Excuse me, it really did. Money is my teammate, also Tyrell student. What's up, Money? What is up? Did you play Knight H5? Knight H5, I thought about it for a while, but it actually was not good. This guy must be a Simon Williams fan. You know what? Maybe, because he definitely threw me off with H4. And I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm even playing anymore. So I play C5 here. C5, I'm used to seeing that a lot. I'm used to seeing C5 a lot in these kind of games, especially against the London system type setups. You go C5 a lot. So I play C5. But the engine, actually, what they recommend is actually H5 here. H5, which is one of my moves I actually like to do anyway. They go H5. After H5, the line goes Knight F3. I just castle. After bishop e2, c6. And actually, the book, I'm supposed to be going c6 in these lines. And this is the thing about prep. Like for prep, I studied this more now because I should have done it like right the first time. Which it means like I should have played c6. I have to get rid of this bishop. Why? Because my pawns are on light squares. So when my pawns are on light squares, you got to get rid of the bad bishop, which is this one. So I'm going to get rid of this, play knight d7, rook e8, and push e5. Put the queen on b6. After I learned this later on, I was like, I already knew this. I already knew this. The only difference is that he threw me off because h4 is usually not a move in there. So I was like, wow. At the end of the day, I knew what I was doing. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Unbelievable how it just threw me off like that. It just threw me off. C5 him. That is a good in-game manual. Yep, thank you. Definitely grab it. Come on, Canty. When I play h4, you always play h5. What happened here? You know what? I would always be fine. I would always be fine, actually. And I wasn't thinking about h5 here. For some reason, I just wasn't. Just wasn't giving the man too much credit. I was just giving him too much credit. So what I did, I just played c5 knowing like, you know what? I'm going to play c5 and play aggressive. I'm going to play c5 and play aggressive. I'm going to play h4 in my tournament. There you go. There you go, Jessica. There you go. c5. So after c5, he actually played the engine's first move too, which is knight b5. Shows how strong he really is. He played knight b5 and quickly too. And I was like, he played this so fast, I thought I made a mistake. Like, yo, I mean, I know I got knight a6, but you played this quite fast. I mean, really fast. So at this time, you know, at this point, I'm really thinking like, I'm okay, which I am. I'm really fine here. So knight b5, knight a6, right? After knight a6, I followed your game, Hans and Balaji's second round game. All of you lost, I think. Yeah, it was a tough round. It was a tough round. Hans lost too. Yeah, Hans had a crazy game. He was playing somebody that had two double pawns on the e file. One of them was about the queen, and he was very strong. He was a very strong player. But so c3 happened. He goes in for c3. I'm like, this is so weird. I have no idea what's going on. So after c3, I played bishop d7. But the best move, because I was already not discombobulated, but like, what do I do here as a plan? I'm out of my own opening theory. And for me, I like to consider myself very, very strong at opening theory for how much time I put into it on top of everything else. I'm very good at opening theory, but this one was one of the 9 games where 2 of them, and this was one of the 2 that I was like, you know, not doing the best on time. Actually, in this game, I was down on time, and the other one we was about even. But bishop to g4. I mean, bishop g4 was the move recommended by the engine here. Bishop to g4. And then the line reads, after bishop g4, bishop e2, takes, put the queen on d7, a4, castles. And this is sort of the same kind of position that I had earlier, where I should have just played h5, play c6 and not c5, put the bishop on g4, trade the bishop off, and then play knight d7, rook e8, push for e5, put the queen on b6. That's the whole idea. That's everything. That's everything. And I did it all wrong. So I had to kind of now create something. You have to create something. And at this point, when you have to create like this, you also lose time. You also don't know if the plans and ideas are correct. You know, there's so much that you can do. You're also playing a super strong player at the time. I mean, there's so much. There's so much, right? There's so much. So you said, what if f3 right here? So after bishop g4, well, f3 we would kind of want. Then I go bishop back to d7. The knight's kind of weird here. Yeah, we can go h3, but this is not probably what we want. This is not the pawn structure white was actually looking for. f3 is more of a good move that I would be looking for, actually. Because now it's the question of where you're going to put your king. If you go this way, I'm already kind of set up. I'm ready to attack. And if you go king side, you always have to worry about the holes around the king, which he ended up castling king side too. He could play e4. Well, this is defended. E4 is defended. Pretty tough to play e4. Also bishop c6 and bishop f5. Pretty tough position. f3 and h4 looks bad. You gotta, if you're going to play f3 and h4, you have to play it in a Yugoslav way to castle queenside. But it's very tough to do so, especially with here. And if he ever tries to castle queenside, I'm gonna crack open the center. So he takes d4. So either he's gonna take this way, and I got queen a5 and some other things. Rook c8. Try to sack on c3. Whatever I could do there. But you gotta be careful with f3. I have to be very careful. Both of us do. So after knight b5, though, I play knight a6. He goes c3. So I go bishop d7. Actually, I went bishop d7, and bishop d7 because I was like, I want to keep an eye on this knight. I want to castle and eventually play queen b6 or queen 5. That's why I play bishop d7. Okay, so after bishop d7, he plays a4, and I was like, that's a pretty sweet move. Pretty sweet move. A4 is fine. London teaches if you got bishop g4, he move knight to f3. London is okay with the double pawn on the f file. F5. It would be. That's correct. It would be okay if it was a double pawn on f file. Matt Smith is correct. So after a4, I follow up with castle. I just get out the way. I'm like, you know what? It's time. At this point, why I castled is like, well, no matter where he puts his king, he'll have a weakness. That's why I castled. I was like, either he's going to keep his king in the center. So at this point, you know, ideas and plans wise, I've been getting really, really good at ideas and plans. And that's what I've been working on because that's one of my weaknesses. So understanding right now, looking at this game, a4 and h4 has been played. So I know that if he castles one side, one of these sides are going to be extremely weak because he pushed both of these pawns. So I already know this in my head. Now, if I castle, then that means now I have to open this up because his king's still in the center, which is going to force him to one of the sides, which I kind of want that to happen because his pawn structure is open on both sides. So that was my idea here. Oh, man, deep analysis. That's what's up. What's up, Murfinsky? Welcome. This is like a nice C3 London. This is exactly what it is, big fella. Exactly. What's up, Dota? Going on. It isn't your knight on a6 bad? Temporarily bad. Of course, it's a temporary fix though. It's temporary because I can always play rook c8, and if worst case scenario, I really don't want to take this, but I could always take this and go knight c7 after probably taking on d4 first. I do open up this file, but it is a possibility of doing so. But I did think about, you know, this knight, how bad it could be later on if I don't get him in the game. So but castle happened. So after castle, he played knight f3. So I'm like, still at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I know his king is in the center. I need to figure out what to do. And now at this point, it's time to crack open the center. So I'll play c takes d4 because I wanted to see what he was going to do. If he takes this way, I always have like knight e4 or queen a5 check, which is going to be almost devastating at that point. Might be pretty tough. I was thinking knight h5 and e5, but I can't really play. e5 was not, it won't be really allowed. It doesn't work the way that we think it would work. It doesn't work that way. So after c takes d4, he took with the e pawn. E takes d4, and now at this point, what do you think black plays? What do you think? What do you think I played here? Let me actually tell you what the engine says. We have knight h5. Rook c8 with Kales. Rook e8. Thanks for the follow. Dougie D, thanks for the follow. Bishop g4 from Jessica. Knight h5. Rook e8 from Jeff. Rook c8 and e6. Bishop g4 seems logical. Fight for the e5 square. So all you guys are right. The number one is actually queen b6. Queen b6 is number one. Knight e4 for Mr. Rio. Pin a knight on f3. All these are ideas. Number one. Let me tell you what's number one. Number one is queen b6. Number one is queen b6. Number two is knight h5. Number three is bishop g4. Bishop g4. So all of these are different moves, but of course, this is what I follow, right? I like to follow principles and I like to follow fundamentals. One of my favorites is from Capablanca. Okay, refrain from moving a piece twice in the opening. So that's what I did. I mean, well, that's what I was not afraid of. That's what I was afraid of. Playing bishop g4. Understanding that I should not move a piece twice. I should refrain from moving a piece twice in the opening. So I didn't even consider bishop g4. Knight h5, I thought about it, but then I was like, knight h5 doesn't seem correct. I need a follow-up. Here's the thing about it. You can always find the first move, but the follow-up. What's the follow-up? And if the follow-up is not correct, then the first move just didn't matter. It just looks good if you don't have the right follow-up. So knight h5, I'm like, knight h5, he could go bishop h2, but then what? But then what? And if you look at this, bishop h2, it's like, but then what? What do? You can't play really e5. There's three pieces on this. Mathematically impossible to do anything on this square. It just doesn't work. f6 and e5 is probably going to be weird. And if I do something weird with this bishop, g4 is going to trap the knight, or some cases just be bad. I'm trying to figure out what to do from here. This was the tough stuff. This was really tough. Bishop g4, f6, computer move, local 711 just got routed. You know, thinking about grabbing some food. Wow. Well, glad you with us, C Nation, with the Jedi. So could be a thing. But rook e8, bishop h6, and knight f4, too weird. Bishop g4, push e5. The engine goes for the best line is queen b6. Wow, queen b6. They also say the #1 move now is knight f6, go back. So that's ridiculous. Like the #1 plan is to go back to f6 or play queen b6. That's the computer for you, right? Computer move stuff. Computer move stuff. Why did I put this knight on h5 if I don't have a real follow-up, right? You know, bishop g4 actually seems positionally logical. Correct. Bishop g4 does seem logical. Well, I also have to realize if I give up this bishop, then I got to move this knight back again. And this, like my pieces are going to get back quickly because I'm trading off my bishop, especially if I go bishop g4 and I end up trading this. This knight is still out of the game. It is out of the game. I'm not going anywhere. b8 is probably the only way I can get back around. It's tough. Plus, I'm also playing a very tough opponent, so you don't want to like just give them any kind of advantage. Even like 2 bishops, that's a huge advantage. I didn't want to give them any of that. So what I played is something different and original here. Of course, the engine didn't like it, but I had my own plans. I had my own plans here, and I had a lot in mind, guys. A lot in mind. So what do you think I play here with black? I didn't play bishop g4. I didn't play queen b6. I didn't play knight h5. If he traded that bishop for the knight, the queen develops. Yep, the queen could develop. But if he plays bishop b2, it would be even better because bishop b2. I know what you play, says Quentin Tanksy. Yeah, you was watching. Bishop takes b5, poggers. Yeah, nah, it could be a move though. Queen a5. Bishop takes knight b5, says Sweet Tea Jordan. Nope, I didn't do that. Knight to e5, meaning knight e4. Despite the engine, I don't like queen b6 much at all. Me either. Computer move, right? Computer move. What does it do? If you don't have a follow-up, it don't matter. It just don't matter. Queen b6 is not a move. Not in human wise. Knight g4, you probably play knight g4. Yeah, queen b6 makes no sense. Thanks for the follow, Zibbit64. Appreciate that. I play queen b6 all the time. That's okay, though. Look, hey, you know, it's all right. Okay, Ricky 8. Don't give up the bishop for no reason. So, Jess and Zibbit64, clap your hands, do a backflip, do all that extra stuff, okay? You got a cookie coming from me. That's right, knight g4, guys. Knight g4, big fella. Knight g4, that's what I played. I played knight g4, poggers, right? Queen b6 would only make sense with the knight g4 or some e5 to hit f2, correct. I played knight g4 with these kind of ideas in mind. So with knight g4, what is knight g4 about? I'll tell you, tell me that. What is knight g4 about? Why did I play knight g4? And honestly, I played this rather quickly. Rather quickly. Knight g4. KNT, what's up, Cayman Stunt? Pressure, e5, rookie 8. E5 from Z Nation. This is right. I want to get e5 in. Flex on him, KNT. I did. I played knight g4, and then I just flexed on him. Until he moved. I kept my arm in the air. And he sat there for like 10 minutes with my arm in the air, flexing, and he made his move. Hopefully, Ricky 8 and e5. E5 at some stage is only pawn break, so it makes sense to play it with or without f6. Correct, Zibbit64, yes. And my knight is also on a very nice post on g4. If you notice this knight, a lot of times you got to know this. You got to know this, or you've either seen this before too. If you look at his knight's on b5. So this is a very nice outpost. And I can't really get rid of it. Same with my knight. It's on g4. It's a very nice outpost. Hard to get rid of, especially if I get h5 in too. So it's going to be tough to get this knight off of g4. So it's pretty strong. I thought this was pretty strong. Of course, the engine thinks otherwise, but the engine will make your brilliancies look like garbage. So, you know, knight g4, I was like, let's go, big fella. Let's go. What's up, Josh? Josh played too, guys. We in the building. What's up, Josh? Welcome. The engine is wrong, of course, and sometimes, you know, sometimes the engine actually is. Obviously, of course, man. What's wrong with him? This looks very similar to a line I learned from Ginger G and playing white. Really? Really? Yeah, it's very, very similar. So I play knight g4. In my notes, actually, because I annotate my games. So I annotate my games, and I annotated my game, and what I put here was, my notes say, I was trying to be creative with f6. So I want to get f6 in. Okay, f6 and e5. Honestly, I did not know the plans and ideas. I did not know here, and me being almost, I feel like a theoretician at this point. Because I study so much theory, it's absolutely ridiculous. It really is. It really is. I have time to do it, so I study absolutely ridiculous amounts of theory on stuff that I like to play. But here, this is very, very hard to face because I was not familiar here. So I had to create my own plans and ideas from here because I followed the wrong plan in the beginning with bishop to d7 instead of the most active square. Bishop to g4, trading off, again, knight d7, rook e8, play e5, put the queen on e6. It's a whole different game than what I'm playing. So now I'm just playing a different game off the head. So knight g4 with this idea of f6, e5. The problem here, though, is that when I get these here, it's going to be an issue trying to figure out how to keep them. How to keep them, because these pawns, yes, they're nice pawns, but nice pawns aren't that nice if they're attacked by pieces all the time. And that's what I have. It's almost like I have two isolated pawns in the center when he trades. And he made a good example of that. I'll show you. Knight g4. He plays bishop e2. I mean, I'm all in at this point. So I have to go f6. I have nothing else to do. I'm all in. f6. He castles. They're called hanging pawns for a reason. Correct. He castles. So I thought about playing e5 immediately, but I'm getting in trouble because queen takes d5. If you see this x-ray, always be aware of the x-ray or the pawns or the stuff that is actually like in between that's not attacked and threatened, or that is threatened. You know, this is not like protected. So I need to be aware of that if I break open this. So if I break this open right now, I'm going to be in trouble. Now I have to move my bishop a second time. So this bishop move really hindered me because I had to move it again. So I played bishop to f5. If I would have played bishop g4 and stuff like that, I wouldn't even. Actually, what's funny is this whole line was about playing e5. I just played it in the worst way possible, to say the least. I was supposed to play bishop g4, again knight d7, rook e8, and e5. But I played it with bishop d7, f6, put the knight on g4, move my bishop so I can defend d5, and then play e5. But stuff's way different at that point. Everything's different. I'm finally getting e5. Finally getting something going, you know. It's pretty tough. It's not that easy. So I played bishop to f5 and got out the way. Bishop f5. He goes bishop g3. I guess he's just stopping e5 in one thrust without having a tempo on it. Really what that was. Now this just looks like a pretty good exchange carry con for black. White wants h pawn back on h2. Yes, he wants the h pawn back on h2. So I have nothing else to do here. But beforehand, before I played e5, I just developed my last piece. I put my queen on d7 first. Queen on d7 first. And I'm curious to see what the engine does at this point. Yeah, so the number one move is actually queen d7 first. So I made the number one move. I just wanted to play queen d7 first because I wanted to complete my development. I like doing that first. And if you see masters and grandmasters, a lot of times have the best positions when they complete everything first instead of just lashing out. You know, you got to do this anyway. So I'm going to play queen d7. And that's what I played. Queen d7, he played queen b3. Queen b3, I was not a fan. Yeah, get the rooks connected, says Jessica. Correct. So queen b3, I'm not a fan of standing right here in this pin like this. I'm just not about to sit here and let you bully me. So I got out of the way. King h8. Rook a to d1. Very nice move. And I was thinking, man, if I swing this rook, he's going to take on a7. This rook's sole job right now is defending this pawn. It sucks, but that's just how it is. So now after this, I play rook f to d8. I thought a while and I was like, man, I need to play e5. I did all of this to play e5 and I can't really play e5 because this pawn's hanging. My grandmaster opponent here is very strong. So I know I can't play e5, so I have to defend it. So I play rook f to d8. I really wanted to keep this rook on the f file, but it's not about what you want to do. It's what the board has to do or what you actually need to do in a position. What's next? How do you get the plan to go? So I need to go rook f to d8. Just keep moving. Rook f to d8. Then he plays rook f to e1. So all his pieces are centralized. Mine are about the same. So rook f to e1. I finally get e5. Boom. There it is. Finally got the break I wanted. But guess what the evaluation is? It's +2 at this point. Very hard to believe. Not very hard, but at the time, I was looking at his pieces, comparing them to mine. I'm like, you know, I feel good. My bishop's nice. Rook on the file. You know, his rooks are nice too, but this bishop's a little passive. This bishop's a little passive too, but it's +2 at this point, guys. +2 from the engine. +2. Is black center unstable? I think that's all it's about. That's all it's about, is the center being unstable. Interesting game right now by Canty. Thanks, Zibit. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Cybertuber, for the shout out. Yeah, wait, never mind. Yeah, it's all kind of stuff here, bro. That's trash. Josh. So he took on e5. Center is loose. Knight a6 and rook a8 are able to play. Correct. Correct. When again, I know what to do now in these plans, but before I didn't. So now after this, pawn takes. I have this loose center. It's nice, but it's loose. Why do I say loose? Because everything hanging. So I did all of this, and this is when I realized, like, man, I went through all of that, and I still ended up having a loose center. Like, something was wrong. So immediately after this game, I went and checked my King's Indian book to figure out where I went wrong and what was I doing wrong. And it was the whole plan was wrong. Bishop d7 was wrong. I was supposed to play bishop g4 and all the other stuff again, right? So we get to this position. Okay, I got the position I wanted. He goes queen a2 because knight c5 was definitely coming. So queen a2, I played bishop e6. It took me a while to make this move because I was like, I'll go knight c5, but then he has bishop c4, and that's annoying because he's pinned and all this other stuff. And I was like, this bishop's really kind of hitting air. This center is really loose. I need to defend this right now. So I'll play bishop e6 with some threats like this. And also I wanted to back this bishop up and have my bishops weirdly defend this center. But these bishops were going to be daggers defending the center like this. So I knew that was coming. So after bishop e6, he played queen to a3. I thought this was a genius move. Actually, this move right here he played queen a3. Yeah, this move right here was actually the first move from the engine. And I'm like, bro, this man is so strong. Like, he just played queen a3 and rather quickly just put the queen on a3. And I was like, wow, okay. I thought it was okay for black, but he just played that fast too, which is like, he's so strong. So strong. So actually, what I wanted to show you guys though, instead of bishop e6, the engine gives knight c5 is my best option. This is what I thought, and this is what I didn't like, right? If I go knight c5, I was going to do this, but he played bishop to, I thought bishop c4 was just fine for him. Because if you look at this, why do I think this is fine? Well, first off, this pawn is hit 3 times. Chess is simple math. I got to defend it twice. I'm about to lose this pawn. Oh, wait, how about the e-pawn? This one's hanging too. Hit 3 times, only defended twice by my knight and bishop. I'm about to drop something. I can't hold it all. I can't take this bishop. I'm about to lose a pawn. But the engine at this point, you know how hard it is to sacrifice a pawn on a 2600 USCF bona fide GM, and you're supposed to be equal after that. How do you even say that you're equal with compensation? Let me actually show you what the engine says. After knight c5, bishop c4, I'm supposed to go knight e4, and I saw this. I simply saw this. I was like, oh yeah, I can get these knights here, and this feels like compensation. This is what I said. It feels like compensation, but I don't believe it. And this is what happens. This is the engine line. After rook takes d5, I'm supposed to go queen e7, and these are my annotation. These are my notes after queen e7. It says equal. This was honestly too tough for me to play. Going down that pawn did not seem equal at the time. Compensation in the active pieces. So how do you feel as black here? Right now, let me show you what the eval says right now. The eval actually says, hold up. Eval says right now. Okay, so it's equal after rook takes d8, so it's plus 0.67 after queen a3. And the highest, if they go knight g5, it could be +1. But, I mean, still, like, I'm not about to do this. I'm not doing this. You thought I was about to do this, big fella? No, not today. I don't know who you thought this was, but not me, big fella. Who's the GM I missed from the start? It's Andriy Gorovich. Yeah, I don't buy this. Come on, bro. I'm supposed to be equal? No, not today. Nah, the engine is drunk. Just couldn't take it. How would I feel is back? Awkward and uncomfortable. Of course. Absolutely. So I wasn't about to do that. I'm like, no. And I thought about knight c5. I was like, I can go knight c5, but if I go knight c5, I'm gonna lose the pawn. And I'm like, I'm not into that. So I just defended the pawn and had faith in defending it. Now watch how crazy this is about to get. He goes queen a3. I go bishop g8. I'm out the way. Bishop g8. Now I feel more comfortable about the center. Again, this knight on g4 is a very beautiful piece. He can't kick it. It's sitting here for a while. I'm eventually going to like bring the rook to f8 and try to play e4 and just try to beat him from here. It feels good. Feels like a good position. Worst thing I have to do is get these two pieces in the game, but I'm feeling pretty good. He goes bishop f1 to attack this pawn. So after bishop f1, I go queen to f5. I just defend it. Queen f5, and then he goes queen e7. Watch this. This is where it got crazy. I thought I had him. I really thought I had him. And running through the engine, I think he's okay, which is like so wild here. So let me run the engine right now just to see where it's at. So right now, I mean, I still can't believe it's +1 right now. I can't believe it. Watch this. Watch this. So I'll play bishop f6. I sack the pawn because I'm thinking I got to get some play on his queen. I got to. So queen takes b7. He goes for it. Boom. Queen takes b7. His queen is almost trapped. His queen is literally almost trapped. Right now it's equal. It's equal after this line right here. Knight c5. He's supposed to go queen c7 because if he go queen c6, the queen's trapped after rook here. So he went queen c7 so he can run out this way. What I'm supposed to play here that makes it about equal is knight e4. But again, I was just not into the fact that like sacrificing this ain't the way to go. Like I just don't think that's right. You know, sacrificing the pawn and not getting enough play for it. So I went this rook to c8. And at this point, I am now losing. I just chose it wrong. It was so hard to understand the compensation I was getting for that pawn. It was so hard. And I think I had a different game. And this is probably one of my weaknesses here is when you sacrificing material, understanding the compensation you do have, especially against the stronger opponents. It's very tough. It's very tough to judge that. Very tough to judge that. Tony Guevara, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. 94, say 94 is logical sitting across the board from his opponent. Correct, right. 94, yeah, it's logical, but say that this is logical sitting across from this bona fide GM right now. And you like, yeah, well, shoot, I'm going to just go 94. Yeah, okay, big fella, you about to go 94, really. And so, you know, right now you about to go 94 when you feel like this man queen is trapped. It feel like it's trapped, for real. There was some lines in here. If he wasn't careful, right? His queen has to go here. You know, my bishop's here. I can hit him on b7. Thought I had him, and I played the wrong move. I should have played knight e4 here. But I played rook after c8. He went here, and I went knight b7. And then I'll just run through some moves here. Knight b7, he played queen b4. I played e4. So e4, we made it very interesting. Knight b to d4, I played queen d7. At this point, I'm still feeling good. He goes bishop b5. I went queen g7. Still feeling good. Bishop a6, knight c5, and now I'm sacking the exchange. Takes. Now, if you look at this, he goes knight h2. Okay, I go knight e5. So right now, I'm feeling okay. Yeah, I sacrificed the exchange, but I got some nice play here. This is so active for black. I know, but the engine says it's +2 right now. +2. Crazy. And then after this, watch this. He takes it. I got both bishops. So I'm like, oh, I gotta be okay. I'm thinking right now, I gotta be okay. I got 2 bishops and I got compensation with this knight. I'm feeling good. I am feeling good here. You said you can't sacrifice pawn against GM, but with sacrifice. Oh, you mean here? Yeah, but here it was kind of forced actually. So if you go back to that, bishop a6. If I go rook b8, I'm just giving up a rook. So you sacrifice, but you're getting it back with knight d3. It's not like it was a straight up, let me just sack it. At least I'm getting something back, a little bit of compensation. That pawn sacrifice was not like what can you say compensation? He said he could sack the pawn to that and clear. Here is more force and he's comfortable in his activity. That's correct. That's kind of the best way to put it. Yeah, very good light square control, but it's down exchange and a pawn. Correct. Material wise, yep, that's right. That is right. So knight g4. I'll play bishop b8. At this point, I'm like, either this is genius or I'm losing. That's it. No way around it. No way. No in between. It's still +2 right here, but no in between. Oh, I guess his white just gives the black the exchange and gives the knight on d4. Yeah. Alpha 0 plus. Yeah. It's tough because all you gotta do is just give the material back and the way that he wants to. So he plays knight e2. At this point, I'm just losing. I just play h5, and I tried to get some stuff going. Queen f6 was actually just not a blunder, but I was thinking too hard. It was too many moves to make. And actually, right now, it's still not that bad. It actually just says +1. Knight d3, take everything. He goes knight d4 and bishop e5. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because it says knight d3. I'm supposed to go here, get the exchange back, After he takes, go after here, go bishop e5. And they say that this is still +1, but it's very fightable. As I can see, it's 2 bishops versus 2 knights. Rook b8 is coming with taking on b2 maybe. This is a slightly fun pass pawn to play with, but it's easy to just snag and gobble up. So it was some stuff here. It was some stuff here. But I didn't go for that. I actually went for queen f6. I let him take this because I thought I had a tactic in here, but it really didn't work the way that way. Knight d3, takes, and he played queen d4. After this, I was like, oh, it might be over. It might be over now. Queen d4, bishop e5, queen takes h4. He played knight g3. This was the best move. I was really hoping he didn't play knight g3. And knight g3 is the best move. Because if you trade, I'm just losing in this endgame. It's just a lost endgame if I trade everything off here. It's just not worth it. So I was like, well, let's just play a move. I played queen g5. He played queen b5. Beautiful move. Best move on the board. Pinning the bishop. And also, I can't move it. Or if I do, I'm just going to trade queens into a lost endgame. And I can't defend it rook e8. And that was it. That was it. So, bishop f4, takes. And after this, my annotations say, I later found that this line I did not study as much. And here we go. Lesson learned. And that's round 2. That is round 2. Lesson learned. I lost this because I was unfamiliar with how to proceed through the opening in this line. That's why I study my stuff very, very hard. Very, very hard. And I learned from this. I learned from it. Again, if you're just getting here, you want to see how this started. This is how I started. d4, knight f6. Bishop f4, London system style. g6, he goes knight c3. It's a very possible way to play it. After knight c3, I go d5. Just stopping e4. All standard here. Bishop g7, h4. This is not standard. I'm actually supposed to go h5. Meet him with the same thing, but I didn't do that. I played c5 instead. The truth hurts. I know, bro, it's tough. JJ25-1, what's up, bro? Welcome. Losing is learning, says Dota, just like Coach says. That's right. I was actually supposed to go, so you guys know, I'm supposed to go bishop to g4. Actually, h5 right now. c6, bishop g4, take, knight d7, castle, play rook e8, e5, put the queen on b6. I got a comfortable game. You going to TwitchCon, can't you? I wish, man. I wish. But not going. So, that's the game. That's the game, guys. That is the game. Again, looking at it from here, I played c5. It got crazy for a minute. And then I went for this knight g4 line. His bishop was very passive on d7. Should have put it on a more active square. Even bishop f5 probably would have been better. Bishop d7 was just not a move, folks. It just was not a move. And ended up losing that game. So that is round 2. That is round 2 of the World Open. I lost playing against Grandmaster Andrew Gorovitz, who actually, at the end, I actually finished a half a point above him at the end. So I finished a half a point ahead. So that still felt good. I was like, oh, I got 5.5. You got 5, big fella. Let's go. But how did round 1 go? Missed that. I won round 1. That's actually on YouTube. If you guys missed it, if you missed round 1's analysis, it's right here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe to that and check out, as this one is going to be posted on the YouTube channel.